This is a happy Friday to everyone, and it is a True Talk Friday. Come on in the room, everyone. Join us. Join us. I welcome you all. Denise, Emmett, Mike, Stig, okay, Janaea, Erica, everyone, Jason, come on in. Listen, you're in for a treat. This is Netta Faye with True Self Society. And again, this is True Talk, raw and unfiltered conversation. I call it Live on 10 because that's what we got to do. That's our goal. Today is a conversation with the incomparable Jackie A.
That the Jackie A. I don't think I'm ever going
the
to get used to being introduced like
The
that.
Jackie A. I am so glad everyone is here, and I'm so glad. Oh, Emmett said he just mentioned you, Jackie. I know it was
Oh,
a good way. Okay.
okay.
Let's talk it
Okay.
up. Let's talk up this
Okay.
girl. She is worth every syllable. So I'm glad to have you. Thank you for saying yes, and thank you for joining us. And Jackie, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. I know that you're multifaceted. You're a multi-platform chick. So just introduce yourself. Tell us what we need to know.
All right. Hi, everybody. So first of all, thank you for having me here. I love having these type of conversations. And to have it with another sister is
Yeah.
everything,
And
right? That's with
everything,
everything, right?
everything.
So I'm excited. So I'm Jackie. So who am I? So I am a Black educator and activist that founded a academy, an educational academy that I like to say it is through a Black lens because it's through my lens. So
Mhm,
I am like all over the place. I got a website, right? I am
mhm,
on Substack. I got Threads. I got Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm everywhere, y'all. Um,
mhm,
my focus, right, was to build a academy that my people, right, our people, right, could have
mhm,
access to leverage all of my knowledge that I acquired over 17 years in corporate America. So all my leadership skills, all my project management skills, what
mhm,
is, how do you scope a project, right?
mhm,
How do you set SMART goals, right? How do
mhm.
you do all that? So I'm here to give all that training to our people for free because that's what we should be doing, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, because I said, this is a Black centered academy, what that means is I did research before I founded it, before I started it. And that research was what are we missing in where are the gaps in our community? Like the deliberate
Mhm.
gaps that were built in
Yeah.
by white supremacy, right?
Okay.
So that's where I target for all my financial literacy, right?
Wow.
It's to
Awesome.
plug those gaps, to teach our community what was deliberately kept from them, right? And
Mm.
to have the access again, like you're not listening to some schmuck. Like you're listening to somebody who had an 820, credit score, somebody that was
Mm.
making 180 grand, somebody that has a
Okay.
foundation so much that I could quit my corporate America job and do what I did. So I'm giving you like the keys to that, right? And I'm
Mhm.
doing it in a manner to which you can read it, but then you could have your son read it and you could have your grandson read it. So everybody is getting a little bit of something. And then I'm here to preserve Black history, right? So it's to preserve
Okay.
Black history, everything they're erasing, right? I take that shit very seriously and to uplift our community, but not to uplift our community in that cheesy way. No, it's to uplift the people in our community that are not seen, the doulas, right?
Mm.
The sexologists, right?
Mhm.
The scientists, the doctors, the artists, all of these people, the farmers, right?
Yeah.
Artists, everyone, all of these people that are within our community that just don't have the visibility, right?
Yeah.
But that
Right.
we could all dabble and we could all be trading resources, right? So it's to make those people, right, visible. And I do it all for free because, again, this academy is for us and it's for
Yeah.
us in a manner where it's top tier because typically free means cheap. It means you get shit. And we're so used to getting shit. And I said, no, no, we're gonna get the
No.
gold fucking water fountain, and y'all can go away. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Shit.
Yeah.
And then of course I do my anti-racism, and even my anti-racism is with our community in mind because I try to take the triggers away. I try to catch the white people and educate them before they piss you off. I try to say, hey, you know what? You're triggered. And you're like, you know what? I don't want to fucking explain this shit to you no more. You know what? Here's the link. Go read. You know
Go
what I
read.
mean?
Go
Because the
read.
material's there. So I
Yes.
gotta stop
Yes.
because I could talk about my academy all day, but that's what I do. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and that's what you're here today to talk to us about and for and your academy, Jackie's Academy. And Jackie yaps a lot. You can tell there is roots and foundation for both of those platforms. The way you speak with boldness suggests you got receipts to back that stuff up.
Always,
Okay. And,
always.
and listen, I appreciate that. I know we appreciate that. Your community appreciates that because we can stand on it. And you're a small thing, but you'll spit fire out there for us in an intelligent way. I love it. And you know what? I love your daily reminders of the rapists in at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Every day you post that same one. And
Yep.
every day it gets a lot of likes, hundreds of reposts. So I hope that lets you know that we're hearing what you're saying. We're listening. We're feeling what you're saying. So keep doing what you're doing, and we're gonna do a little bit of it here. If you guys haven't already, follow, subscribed, become a paid member to Jackie's platform because she is sharing her knowledge and her experience for free, but it's not cheap. As you said, it is of value, and we want to show that appreciation to her for that. So, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And we're going to jump right into it. And today we're kind of talking about what I call every step we take in solidarity in times like these. And you wrote last week, I want to read it: solidarity ain't everyone holding hands, it's everyone taking responsibility. And it was a two-sentence note that just really struck me that sometimes we can, really be enjoying our kumbaya moments, feel good, the gospel music playing and, all of that good stuff, but nothing is being done afterwards. No one's taking responsibility for what now. And we see a lot of that irresponsibility showing up with people who look like us, but people who don't, like the Met Gala. You posted about it, I posted about it, backed by Bezos and his, hundreds of gazillion millions of dollars, and this kind of parade of excess. When people are losing their jobs, they're going hungry. Gas is $7 a gallon, and all of this craziness. And you have this thing that some people have likened it to the Hunger Games capital. If you've seen that movie, how
Yep.
people out in the regions were starving. In the capital they're having these wonderful things. So for us now is to me a sign. So solidarity feels like the appropriate call right now, a wholeness call for us to come together, those of us not in the capital, not in the big house, to come together and form some efforts, some things that bring real impactful change to our future in the face of what we're seeing with the political shenanigans, turning back voting rights, and again, the economic impact of things that are happening, the just so much going on that's going to be realness to us showing up for our future. So let's talk about solidarity. And for you, Jackie, what is it requiring of Black people right now, especially Black women, but Black people in general, when we're in a culture that rewards fragmentation and self disconnection?
So I love it. So if you saw one of my other lives recently, I was having a conversation with a white man and a Latino man about
Hmm.
solidarity.
Hmm.
So I came at it from a particular angle, y'all, right? And that's what's fun about me is I'm dynamic, right? So
Hmm.
this time I'm coming at it from a whole different angle, okay? Because why? Black women, Black people, our community is different, right? So for us, real solidarity requires refusing the roles, right? That this culture has scripted for us. Okay. We
Mm-hmm.
have to remember that fragmentation is profitable.
Mm.
Okay. Disconnection is predictable,
Mm.
right? So when
Yes.
the system needs Black women, they need us exhausted. They need us isolated. They need
Mm.
us to compete for proximity to power, right? So solidarity means
Wow.
we stop performing those
Mm.
roles, right?
Mm.
We stop performing those roles. It requires self connection first,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
Because
Yes. Yes. Yes.
a disconnected Black woman can't build a connected community,
Mm.
right?
Say that.
Right?
Say
Truth
that.
telling, right? It requires
Yes.
truth telling about how
Mhm.
we've been conditioned to distrust one another. We
Mm.
will tell the truth about white supremacy and about white people, but we got to take it that step further. We got to tell the truths about ourselves, right?
Mm.
All right.
Yes. That's right.
We have to drop the myth of the strong Black woman performance. And we need
Exactly.
to replace it with what? Interdependence.
Mm.
All right. And we need to choose alignment over approval.
Mm.
Okay. Even when approval is the easier currency. Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Yes. Yes.
always
Yes.
say, and you read a little bit of it, right? Solidarity ain't a feeling, right? And for us, it's a discipline.
Yes.
Okay. It's a daily refusal to let white supremacy narrate how we relate to each other.
To
And
one
you
another.
were talking about it before we got on the call. We
Yeah.
can see how it's all up in our community and it's affecting how we vibe.
Yes. Yeah, yes. And those excellent points. And a lot of those things dictating how we vibe are peripheral, or like we
Mhm,
were saying, petty, hair texture, skin complexion, your address, what you drive, where you work. Any of these things are petty, particularly in the face of civil rights, in the face of starvation, in the face of poverty, or what's happening with our young people.
mhm,
Some of them are directionless, or even statistics on prisons, who gets to go and who doesn't go.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've got to pull back on the things that other people have set in place to divide us.
exactly. And we have to like, we are the smartest people. We are so fucking smart,
Yeah.
right? And we know we can educate them. Like, we can educate white people and say, okay, redlining is the reason why there are predominantly white communities, right? Redlining is the reason
Hmm.
why you think that all white school is so fucking great, right? We know that the reason why, right? And we also tell people, right? We also know like not all Black people grew up in the quote unquote hood, right? We say we will redefine all of our stereotypes and then in the same breath penalize another Black person because they didn't get to grow up in an all Black neighborhood. Make it make sense.
Hmm.
So we're
Right.
punishing our own people from circumstances of which we know was defined by white supremacy, and we're going to use that to scoop up that person's Blackness. Why? Why do
Right.
we do that? Why are we doing that?
Right. Yeah. And it is remnants from the conditioning, is remnants from white supremacy ideology that we accepted and adopted, and we're kind of perpetuating forward without even knowing,
Exactly.
about it. Yeah. Without
Exactly.
even realize we are perpetuating European ideas
Yes.
versus Afrocentric ideas, right? Afrocentric ideas are communal, right? There it is, one for all for one. We survive together. And I've been to Africa. Skin color, hair things it's a different kind of energy. It's not there. in certain even European countries I've been to is not there. You were mentioning the Netherlands.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing is I love Black Americans. We are our own culture, but sometimes with that, we become our own worst enemies because we forget that Blackness exists outside of our walls, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not defined the same way, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I shared this before, I'm doing research on the Netherlands and I'm doing it for a reason, and that will all be revealed in good time. But with
Okay.
that being said, with the Netherlands, you don't say Black American. They look at you funny. They don't know what you're talking about. They
Mm,
say Afro American, African American. You understand?
mm,
They
mhm.
define it different. And again, if you look at it from our lens as Black Americans, we know that there's a big in our community. There's a big back and forth. There are Black
Mhm,
Americans that are like, nah, you ain't calling me African American. There's African Americans, and there's a big
mhm,
like back and forth. And that to me is one
mhm.
of those. And again, to me, it's a petty
It
little thing that
is.
we're fighting on. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
But when you look out and the world looks at us, right? This is how the Netherlands look, and they're looking. Okay, you don't know where within Africa you can't trace your roots because of slavery, right?
Mhm,
Some of
mhm,
it their fault, right?
mhm.
So, but we know you are African. You're from. So that's and it's fascinating because when they engage with children, a child is not black because their skin is too light. A child's blackness is defined by their culture. It's defined
Mhm,
by their nationality, where they grew up, how they grew up, right?
mhm,
And it's just different. It's different.
mhm.
Here's the thing too, is I think that is lost in our communities. We can mesh it all together. There doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a universal truth, but we don't need to like fucking fist fight over it either. There's bigger things
Right,
that we need to focus on.
right, right. We're swatting at gnats when these big old vultures are, roaming around us all the time. And when you mention about the labels, Afro, black, whatever we call it, W.B. Du Bois was talking about um no matter what the name is, it's not the name. Are you going to be any more valued because they call you black? Are you going to be any less valued because they call you African or colored or Negro? It's not in the name, it's in the thing, what we're being and who we're being for one another.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
and you could even take it a step further and say now they have us arguing. Now white supremacy has us arguing over symbolism. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
because we're sitting here and we're arguing over that, and that has us distracted when we could be doing what? We could be building out mutual aid networks. We could be
Yes.
building a friggin' black owned targets and shit. You know what I'm saying? And
I
really be doing that shit. But instead, we're sitting here saying, you know what? I would like for you to call. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, how about you call me Jackie, recognize that I'm Black woman, and let's fucking carry on and let's do our thing.
right.
And then respect. If I say, you know what, I prefer for you to call me an African American woman. Okay, sis, no problem.
Right. Yeah. Same thing, same things. And we can see it clearly when we're looking outward into something like Rwanda back in the day,
Mhm.
when the Dutch pitched the same people against themselves, call
Yep.
one, call the other, and they fight and kill each other. We've got to turn that lens on ourselves
Yes,
to say, okay,
exactly.
are we getting caught up in the labels and the names? Yeah, let's not do that. We've got other things to do. Like you said, these networks, that's what solidarity kind of looks like. I mean, maybe you can talk about that a little bit. What does solidarity look like? You talking about building networks.
Yeah, so I think what I wanted to like, if it's cool with you, and yeah, we'll talk about.
Sure.
So I could talk about networks first. Let me talk about networks first. So networks to
Okay.
me, this is what I see. I see community-based networks, and what that means is that we have mutual aid networks that are, throughout, right? They're throughout,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have kind of an underground system where we are bartering our goods. You know what I mean? We are sharing our resources. We have access to farmers. We have access to, tools and resources. Like myself, I have a whole gardening section so that way we can do food sustainability. Share
Mm-hmm.
that knowledge and trade within our community. So when we're using our money, we're funneling the money back within our community at the same time is taking back and controlling our narrative. You
Mm.
understand? And
Yes, yes.
and again, that's why my goal of Jackie's Academy is to bring I'm collaborating with a doctor. I'm collaborating with, I said sexologist for a reason. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I have a black realtor that I collaborate with. It's to bring these resources to y'all, because you know that black realtor ain't gonna fuck with you. They're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna misguide you because they're racist. They're gonna hold you down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's making these resources accessible and affordable, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is solidarity. It's all of these parts of blackness, of our culture. We can do that within this community, meaning our Afrocentric based creators, because I follow a few. We can learn from them. We can set up little schools where they're
Mm.
teaching that. I am a firm believer that we need to know about the all everything. We should be united. I am with Malcolm X, right? My goal is to be in Ghana. I want to go there. Like, I know he said every black activist must go to Ghana. I'm on a roll. We'll go there. But
Mm-hmm.
you see what I'm saying? Like, we need to do all that. And the thing is, the reason why I get so passionate about it is because we can do it. But we're
Yes.
in our own fucking heads. We're in our own way. You know what I'm saying? But to me, like, when it comes to networking, that's what solidarity looks like to me. It looks like, you know what? Okay, you want to be a project manager. You don't got the funds to get your PMP. Oh, guess what? I'm a project manager. That's what I did. I can train
Mm.
you. Let me
Mm.
train you. Oh, in return, you're a doula and you're going to provide me with your services. Ah, okay, cool. Okay, now let's connect. And now let's go ahead and get on a
Mm.
live together where we charge people to give them these services, and let's bring in that income together. So now not only do we community resource together, we
Yes.
then build a revenue income together.
Okay. I love that.
Come on, like,
I
I'm
love
eager.
that.
Like, how, like, let's go, y'all. Like, I'm like, let's go.
And everyone's benefiting, right? The two
Exactly. And
parties are
we're
benefiting,
all
and we're benefiting the community, and it's coming from within. So we're not waiting for somebody outside of us to come save us, to come give us the answers, to the
and we come
handout.
back, yes, and we come back to our roots. You
Yeah.
understand? Like, we learn about the
Mm.
languages that were stolen. We learn about the customs that were stolen. Fuck, we learn about the religion that was stolen because this Christian shit
Mm.
ain't working for nobody.
Ah, ah,
So
ah,
sorry.
ah,
We
girl.
learn about that.
Woo.
The stories that died out with our ancestors, we bring those back, right? We stop
Right.
waiting for permission to be fully black, fully. You know what I mean? And we
Yes.
can do that. We have the
Yes.
wisdom, we have
Yes.
the
Yes.
knowledge, we have the tools, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And
But
we do have the resources. There is money coming from our communities. It's just going out elsewhere.
it's going out back to white people. It's going out back to, oh, the fucking Grammys. It's going out back to supporting celebrities that don't give a shit about you. It's going back to
Right.
people who want to sit there and act like, oh, this Met Gala is for art. No, it's not. The money goes to one place, the Met Costume Institute, dummy. And then these
Yes.
celebrities. And you know what pisses me off too? Because then, and I'm gonna say it first here on your show and cause some
Okay, go ahead. Go
what
ahead.
pisses me off is fucking everybody sitting here and giving people like Beyonce a free pass. If I was Beyonce, we would have a black owned Target. Okay?
Mm.
And guess who would be in charge of it? It would be my brother Andre from down the fucking block. You understand? If I was
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce, you
Mm-hmm.
understand? I
Mm-hmm.
would be I would be looking for a Jackie's Academy and pouring the money into
Pouring
it
the
and saying,
money.
you know what, sister? Here's $100,000 to get you started. You
I
understand?
know.
But you can't
Yes.
talk about her because everybody wants to lose their mind, and all they are doing is taking over the white supremacy narrative, because white supremacy told us that we are to be entertainers. White supremacy told us that we are to be athletes, and then we eat that and gobble that up, and then we forget our man Malcolm X said himself in 1963 that black entertainers are nothing but puppets and clowns
Yeah.
promoted by white society to lead the black community. I mean, we forget the words of our fallen leaders, the leaders that they fucking
Yeah.
stole from us. And
Yeah.
that's what we're focusing on. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. They gave their life to send these messages, to make these changes. Yeah. but we've lost it, and we really exchanged it for approval from outside.
Yes. That's what,
Other
and
people.
that's what the Grammys are. I gotta shut up, but that's what the Grammys are. Like we need, when we're creating our own community, when we're doing the solidarity, we also do award shows because we already know we're great. Why the fuck do we need a white person to say, you know what? You now feel comfortable. So now
Yeah.
that you feel comfortable, we're gonna give you this award. Okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we feel comfortable with you because now you are white enough, right? Not complexion, not your body image, but you have the mindset. You have crossed over in the mentality that we can now accept. Yeah.
Yep,
And
true.
the moment we start to shift that, then they get uncomfortable, right? And start coming. We can do what our ancestors did. We can do what our ancestors did in Tulsa, in Florida, and create these communities that thrive independently, and we can protect them. We have to want to do it. And like
Correct.
you were saying earlier, we have to then figure out a way to trust one another to do it.
Correct.
Build,
Correct.
build
Correct.
those, yeah, reattach, rebuild those bridges of trust for us to do it. And it benefits everyone. Like it starts to wean many of us off of government assistance, right? Because when you have that, you got another problem.
And they got you. You see what I'm
They
saying?
got you, right?
And that's what
Mhm.
I'm saying. Excuse me, as I like choke. I do Jackie's Helping Hands. I actually just gave out a sister $100 for her rent, right? So
Mhm.
it's, I want, I want an academy where my mutual aid is so fucking robust that people can tap in and say, I can't do the rent. I can't pay my medical bill. You see, and that's what those mutual aid our resources do. They tap in. Those are our safety nets. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And think about it. Think about it. Think I always say this. I have 35,000 followers on Threads. Imagine if every person gave me $10, right? Now me as a black woman, I'm going to get all that money and I ain't going to go and spend it on myself. I'm going to recycle it through my community. My grant
Yes.
ain't going to be $100. It's going to be 1,000, right?
Yes.
It's going to bigger impact, right?
Yes.
And I get it. I get it. Our people have been duped not only by the white man but by members within our own community. So we have a natural instinct to be distrustful, right?
Right.
But
Right.
that's
Right.
why we gotta have, like, that's why we gotta do what you're doing, pulling conversations like this together so we can have these conversations so people in our community can see, like, we're here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yes, yes, we're here. We have an opportunity. There are things happening to compel us to do it. And now we just got to figure out how to do it. And on a positive note, these things are happening. They're just not as much and not structural. So like you said,
yes,
if all of your followers sent you $10, $100, you can combine that and then structure it and channel it in a way that is going to benefit, get a sister off of public assistance or whatever the need is. I have a group of women. Someone put out a call the other day. I don't have money to buy groceries. Can you send me $10? So many of us sent her $10 and she said, stop, don't send any more. But we want structure around that. We want uh, it to be repetitive.
yep,
Right. So,
exactly.
so you teach us, Jackie, what you're doing with your network, and then I can start one,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
I can funnel it into yours. I know this person who's doing it with integrity. We can trust her to scholarship people who are in need. Let's go ahead and send some money to hers.
Exactly. And that's why visibility, right? Because I told you everything I do is strategic for our people. I know our people are going to be distrustful, right? I know,
Mhm.
right? So Jackie's Helping Hands, I document it all. That's part of my program. The
Mm.
recipient provides me with a picture and they provide me with a narrative. That's the
Hmm.
narrative that's shared out. And I have it on my website under Jackie's Helping Hands. You can go through and you could scroll through and see all of the different people that Jackie's Helping Hands have
Okay.
touched.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
that visibility, and the thing is that visibility, put it this way, that visibility isn't just because, I understand that our people have an innate distrust that is a righteous innate distrust. It's
Mm-hmm.
also because that's part of being a leader. That's part of being human. And what I mean by that is when you lead with compassion and you lead from that human perspective, you're visible, you're transparent. It just looks like my thing got so dark. Hold on.
Okay. And while you're doing that, there's some great comments. Thank you all for listening and joining us and piping in. I love it when you put your thoughts in a chat. Jabari said, "Great conversation, slapping the table, good." I like that. VL says, "Tracy, you're one of the good ones syndromes." Yeah, we have to be the good ones for ourselves. I think that was a comment about, we're looking for acceptance in other people's community, and we want the seal of approval from other people. We want to be able to tell ourselves, you're one of the good ones. Let's keep building our community. Let's build like our ancestors did when they first were found out that they were emancipated. They sharecropped, they started to build their own things, and
Exactly.
even while they built their things and were thriving, other people came and wanted to take it. Okay, but like our voting, if it's not important, if it's not valuable, they're not going to try to take it. The things we're doing, the high money, the costumes for the Met, and all of these, high end brand things, nobody's trying to come take that, right? Because it's doing what they want it to do.
Exactly.
Right. Feed their communities, feed their systems. When we do things to support ourselves and build our community, that's when somebody wants to come and take it. But that's telling us we're doing the right thing.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the other part too. Like if you really want to think about it, look at it from this angle too. The celebrities that are so quote unquote out there, rich and famous and powerful, the black celebrities, right? You really think that they are not at all influenced by any type of whiteness behind the scenes? You don't think they're not a deliberate distraction? You don't think that they're out there because they are, what's their 10-step plan for black liberation?
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Like you, so that's why, and it's not to sit here and to make people feel guilty for fucking liking a celebrity. It's
Right.
to take your focus away from them. It's to say, yeah, you know what? I do it too. When I'm decompressing and I just got done cussing out a fucking racist, I will go put on Pac and Kendrick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I lose myself to music. I know how important music is. You know what I mean? I love watching a good fucking movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, when you sit down to go give your money to somebody, it shouldn't be paying $1,000 to go see Beyonce in concert. It should be giving $1,000 to a mutual aid fund.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's within our community. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
all I'm saying. Like redirect your priorities. Like what
Yes.
you will, do what you will for entertainment, what you need to do to decompress, to stay alive, to feel human. But
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like get away from
Sure.
that.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Exactly. And we're not demonizing wealth. Right.
correct.
There is wealth in our community, and we applaud people who have accumulated wealth. Now the issue is, what do we do with it? How are we helping our communities survive and be strong and honoring our Afrocentric nature,
Exactly.
the
And
thing
we're
that
not,
has
yeah.
us here?
No, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. No,
Mhm.
exactly. We're not redistributing the wealth, right? We're also hoarding the wealth, right?
Right.
I always am sitting here thinking, and this is not to like put myself up on a fucking pedestal by any means, but I'm always sitting here thinking, like, I know how much money I have. I did Jackie's Academy, I launched it with my own money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting some tips in my Substack, and that's helping me fund the Academy, which then I can translate into giving back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost my train of thought. I do it all the time. Everybody that knows me, I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay, but we were just talking about redistributing, and we're not demonizing the fact
Oh,
that
yeah.
people
So
do it with.
I have money to give out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all I could think about is if I had just one of those celebrities just said, "Here, Jackie, here's $300,000." The lives I could change, like the plans I have, the groceries I could buy, the rent I could pay, the medical bills. Like I'm like, I could make a real fucking impact. I could found a black media, social media, so
Mhm.
that way, you know what I mean. We can get off of fucking Meta. I could start a fucking black owned version of Amazon and make it so that way, there's I don't know this stuff behind
Right.
the scenes, but I can collect instead of collecting and distributing people's data, we could, I don't know, have all the resources combined. And I don't know, you see what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
there's just so much. And it's like, what the fuck? And it's
Yeah.
so, it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's fucked up. But
Yeah, even just bolstering what you're already doing with your academy, because a lot of the things you're doing is reminding us and teaching us, our roots, us and the generation behind us, the young people, so they can start making smarter decisions about our community, about our identity, about who we are, showing up in our what I call our true self, our Afrocentricity and our divinity.
yeah.
That we can control the narratives for ourselves and not be subject to other people's narratives about us.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so that goes back to the question I think you asked me for one of the questions where it's like, so how do you know when your choice, right, is rooted in true self, like you said, or is it being shaped by, white
Mm-hmm.
supremacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the best way to look at it is by the cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
So choices rooted in your true self expand you,
Yeah.
right? You're being
Yes. Yes.
expanded.
Yes.
They create coherence, right? They move
Yes.
you forward, connect, right?
Yes.
They move you
Yeah.
forward connection, right? You're moving towards connection. You're not moving away from it, right? They don't
Right.
require shrinking or contorting or the
Mm-hmm.
fucking performing, right? Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Choices shaped by survival feel different, right? So,
They
like,
do.
think about it, managing perception. That's one thing I had to do. And I'm sure, when I was in corporate America, is to manage perception. I knew as soon as I got into a meeting with all
Mm-hmm.
those fucking medical directors, right, from the healthcare clinic in the little friggin', deep south that
Yeah.
never seen a black person before, that I'm going to get on this meeting as
Yeah.
the manager with my locks and everything. I'm like, all right, so how am I going to manage their perception of me? How am I going to make these white people feel comfortable, right? So choices shaped by survival also anticipate harm. I knew when I was in that meeting, I
Mm-hmm.
knew how
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be perceived. I knew, okay, if I raise my voice too much, I'm going to become angry, right? If
Right. Right.
I
Right. Right.
right, if I interrupt them, then they're gonna get upset, right? I need to
Right.
make them feel like this,
Feel.
like I make them feel like they're smarter than me without sacrificing who I am, right? I'm going through
Right.
all this, and I gotta anticipate the harm
Right.
because the harm for me was I had to sacrifice a little bit of myself, right? I had to let that white man think that he was smarter than me. So that
Mm-hmm.
way he would fucking listen to me. You
Right.
understand?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Um, choosing safety over truth, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Right. Right.
Prioritizing white comfort or male comfort, right? I see
Mhm.
it, I'm gonna say it. I see a lot of black activists who do that, who
Mhm.
prioritize white comfort, right? They want to
Right.
make sure. I mean, I've had black activists who've straight out blocked me because you're too mean, right? You're too mean. You
Mhm.
sound like you're yelling at them. Good. They need to be fucking yelled at. They hate us. I think they can
Yes.
be yelled at. Like, what the fuck? Right? Abandoning your own needs to avoid conflict, right? So
Mhm.
I don't want to upset the white person. I don't want to upset the atmosphere in the room, right? That
Mhm.
person just said something that was really racist and I want to call them out, but I want to do it because it's going to cause conflict. And what happens with conflict? We're the ones who suffer the fucking consequences, right? So
Right.
when for our community, right, we think how we should look at it is survival choices keep you alive, right?
Mhm.
But your
Mhm.
true self lets you live,
Live.
live, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That
and
is
we
so
don't
important.
and all the stuff that I just named, like the survival strategies, it's not about shaming each other about those strategies because those strategies are literally necessary for us to survive, and especially for us to survive in corporate America, right?
Yes.
But we need to be able to recognize when they're still showing up.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. They're not only survival, but the people who loved us taught us those things for survival, for our safety. So
Exactly.
it is kind of inbred on where we put our eyes, where we put our heads, the things that we do to keep other people comfortable so that we survive. But I like
Exactly.
what you said is that it should be strategic, not necessarily thrown away, but we need to be conscious of it, and then it needs to be strategic about when and how we use it. Our ancestral mothers were very good at that right hand not knowing what the left hand doing, and moving ahead to whatever they were trying to achieve. I think they understood the game they had to play, but they also understood playing the game. So they weren't blindly do it. I think somewhere between them and us, we became blindly conditioned to do it. We were just doing it because, oh, that's not what we're doing. But we need to bring back the strategy
Exactly.
behind it. Yes.
Yeah, we gotta take it. Go ahead. No, no, no. You finish.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Go ahead, Jackie. You got
No,
this.
I was just gonna say all what we need to do to go after what you're saying is all those things that I called out. That's what I want to do. I can teach our people how to manipulate. I manipulated the shit out of white people in corporate America. Okay. I mean, when I was at my peak before I left, I was making $178,000 a year. $178,000 a year. I was a manager over 34 people and over 7 different healthcare applications. I was like the best leader in that
Mm,
fucking company, right?
mm,
People like, uh, and I knew exactly how to get what I wanted from the white people I work with. I knew exactly what to do. And
mm-hmm,
again, yes, you have to take some of those survival mechanisms,
mm-hmm.
but you think about it when you're manipulating those survival mechanisms for your benefit, and you know at the end of the day, she just thinks she got something, but at the end of the day, not only did I get my way, but I got my paycheck. Right? You feel
Right.
good. Those survivals, right? Those survival techniques now are being manipulated to us to leverage to thrive. So we can
Yes.
do it with a smile.
Absolutely. Absolutely be doing it with a smile. And it is the as I say before, wise as serpents, harmless as dove type of thing. We're going to be using those techniques to move ourselves ahead. The thing is, like you noted earlier, we can't play those games with ourselves. I can't be trying to use that technique on you, my sister. 'Cause
Exactly. Exactly. You got to use these techniques on white corporate America. If that's okay, put it this way, white corporate America is fucked, right? The white supremacy is completely riddled in that system. Unless it's going to be completely torn down and rebuilt in order for our people to be able to thrive and climb in there, right?
Mhm,
We need to
mhm,
be able to take these strategies and we need to be able to manipulate them to fuck with the white people, right?
mhm, mhm.
That's what we need to do. The danger comes in now. We need to be transparent with our people. That should be passed on. Girl, I can't believe I didn't get fired sooner. When I was in the Black Alliance at my job, I would tell, I would take it off and keep the trust in the fucking room. But I would look at all the black people. I'd be like, all right, so this person right here, her name is, all right, so this is how you talk to her, okay? And this is,
Yes,
no. When you want to write to the CEO, this is what you're going to do. This is what their personality is. You see what I mean? And
yes.
this is how you manipulate. I took what I learned and I strategized it and I sent it to all the black people that were in the Black Alliance. You know what I'm saying?
I love
Right?
that. Listen, it's like the 2026 version of the Green Book is
Yeah,
what
it's
we
like
need.
exactly, and it's like all the tips and tricks,
All
right?
the tips.
And
Yeah.
then I give you that, right? But then That's what the leadership comes in. All my leadership training. That's when my project management training comes in.
Mm.
Those things are adaptable. Adaptable. I was in healthcare IT. You could take all my material and adapt it anywhere. But all of a sudden, you walk up in a meeting and they're talking about SMART goals, and you go up to Jackie and you're like, "Shit, a SMART goal," and you have your whole outline ready to
Mm-hmm.
talk about SMART goals, and they're looking at you like, because you just surprised them and you didn't have to go pay no money or friend. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right. Right. Right.
that's the whole point. Like that's the vision, right?
Right. Right. That I love that as these trinkets of solidarity. This is
Yes.
this is how we should be moving, people. This is how we should be moving in our community. And we're not, anti-white. We're not going against white people, because there's some white people who want to do some good things. Maybe they don't know how. What we are is pro black people. And that's a difference. That's a difference. And we have to think about what's holding us back from this level of solidarity that moves us forward, that does protect us, that does you know lay down a path toward a good future for our children, people coming after us. What's holding us back from doing that? I'm thinking.
Well, so the in my opinion, right? So this is, and I'm just going to talk about black women for a second, right? So
Mhm.
I think what we really need to do is release that belief that we must do everything alone to be worthy.
Mm.
Because that's a colonial inheritance, right? And what it
Yeah.
does is it's a way that white supremacy tries to stick that individualism into us. It tries to isolate us, right? It burns us out, and
Mm.
then it keeps us building anything bigger that it keeps us from building anything bigger than ourselves, right? Because I
Wow.
can't build something bigger than myself without you, sis. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like I need
Mhm.
you, right?
Mhm.
I need Anna, the woman that from yesterday, that sexologist I said, right? That I was
Mhm.
talking about, right? I need
Mhm.
my boy Derek, right? He's the
Yes.
one who does all of my cartoon Jackie stuff, right?
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I need people that are smarter than me,
Mm.
right? It's a build off of. But when we hold on to that belief that we have to do everything alone to be worthy, and again, I would argue that this, like I said, is a remnant of white supremacy, and it was a
Mhm.
white supremacy is fucking insidious. So it's an insidious way, like I said, to get that little individualism baked into us, because that's why white people are so fucked up, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
what we need to do, right, is we need to embrace that interdependence as strategy, right? And not a weakness. So we have
Yeah.
to remember collective power
Mhm.
requires what? We were just talking about a shared labor, shared
Mhm.
vision, and shared protection. And that's the
Mhm.
other piece too. We pick and choose what Black people we're going to protect. You know what
Mm.
I mean? We pick and choose.
Mhm.
Okay, your story's worthy for protecting. You're worthy for protecting. Like, no,
Mm.
we
Mm.
need shared protection. Like, if I have a cyber stalker, which I have for a fucking year and a half, and I'm sitting here getting threats about being raped and murdered, I should have a coalition of my sisters in my
Mhm.
community around me fighting back. You know
Right.
what I mean? Understanding that's my sister. If she's saying this, she's got the receipts. That's Jackie. She's one
Mhm.
of us. Like, and then we rally, and then that motherfucker's no longer on the internet because we took care of it. We don't
Mm.
need the fucking slave patrol. We don't need the government to tell us, you know what, Jackie? You gotta wait until that motherfucker shows up and kills you. You know,
Mm.
by the way, we have our shared protection. We
Mm.
have a game plan. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And you take my shared vision that I've been sharing with you about Jackie's Academy and you build off it. We don't look at each other as threats. We look at each other as, what is your skill set? How can I help elevate you? And how can you help
Mm.
elevate me? Right?
Mm.
Like, we
Yes.
care about each other the way our ancestors cared about each other. We are all brothers and sisters. We're all cousins, aunties, uncles. Like, that's what we're here. That's what we're doing, and we're not only doing this for us. We're doing it for the few, for our generation, but
Mhm.
below us, our future, the future. How can
Mhm.
we? How can we raise little leaders? How can we raise community builders if we're not doing it? If we're not
Yes.
showing that behavior? If all our kids see is, you know what, we're just gonna stick up for Beyonce. That's when I'm gonna get real fucking fired up when someone comes from Queen Bee. Like, what are we teaching our kids? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Why are we
Right.
elevating the community leaders? Like, I just,
Right. That certainly speak to our definition of self-value. Like we were talking about earlier, self um connection, connecting with yourself and how you value yourself and how we're uh teaching our young people that value equates to like celebrity or wealth. And if you
yes.
don't have celebrity, you don't have wealth, then you're under, you're not valued.
Right. Or if you, and it's translating now to social media. In order for you to be important on social media, you have to be a quote unquote influencer. So what did Jackie do? I said, okay, I'll become one. I work my fucking ass off. I have the community now. And then what do? I strategically look for the accounts that are blowing me away. That's who I'm reposting. That's who
Mm,
I'm elevating. You say to me, sis, I want you on my podcast. You know what's going to bring in your audience? I ain't
mhm,
going to charge your ass. I'm gonna say, when do you need me? What do you want to talk
mm,
about? You know
mhm,
what I mean? How can I
mhm,
promote you? What can I do? And I
mm,
do that because I know I have the community. I have a big
mm,
community. I call everybody
mhm,
Jackie's Army. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Like,
mhm,
and I'm
mhm,
gonna use that. It's my duty to use that influence, but it
mm,
shouldn't require that. When the woman who came to me that said this sci-fi author just hit me up and called me a nigga. I didn't look at her account and say, well, you only have 1,000 followers. So if I elevate this story, I'm probably not going to get much traction. And blah, blah. No, I said, give me
mm,
everything you got. And then
mm,
I elevated him. And
mm,
I took it on because I said, I'm the activist. This is what I do. Right.
mhm,
And I
mhm.
took it on. She stepped away. I ended up being doxxed and threatened and all of that. But I took that on because
Yeah,
I am built that way. I can do that. I want to do that. You see
yeah.
what I'm saying? But it's not based on celebrity. It's not based off of popularity. And I'm not doing it so you
Mhm,
like me. I'm doing it and I make it visible so people know I'm here. So that
mhm,
way, if there is a sister or a brother who is this is happening to, they know Jackie will take care of this. She'll step in front of me. And you can. I will step
mhm,
in front of you. When I step in
mhm,
front of you, you tap out. I got
mhm,
this. I'll take
mhm,
the heat. I'll be
mhm,
the distraction. You know what
mhm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what we need to do for each other. And it's like, not just for fucking Beyonce. And it just drives me crazy. I'm sorry. I know I keep hopping on her. It's nothing against her personally.
Right. You're
It's
right.
just
Right. Right. It's
so
not, and it's not just her. It's the
it's
whole
not.
gamut.
It's
Yeah.
not. I stick
Of
on her
that
because I
line.
watch our community defend her in a way that I'm just like, holy shit. Like, holy shit. But you're right. It's not just
Yeah.
her, and
Yeah.
it's not on them. That's on us. We gave them that celebrity.
Right.
You know what
And
I
we
mean?
and we place that value on it. Right.
Correct.
We place that value on her and anyone else who we deem as worthy
Exactly.
of that. And frankly, they don't need it. Right? They don't need
Exactly.
it.
They don't
They
need
don't
it.
need it. But there are people among us who do. So we gotta mix up the bag of us. We gotta embrace the whole fullness of us. So not just the celebrity wealthy people, but all of us, like you were saying, the doulas and the gardeners and us quote regular people.
Well, and I think that's the other part that we need to do is we need to understand that we need to redefine representation. And let me
Mhm.
explain that. What I mean by that is even the way we define representation in leadership is still suit and tie, right? That to me is very white supremacy driven, right?
Mm. Mhm.
We need to redefine that, meaning I show up in a hoodie for a fucking reason,
Mm.
right? I do
Mhm.
it for a reason. It's to show people you can be smart as shit and you can wear a hoodie. You
Mhm.
understand? You can be an activist and you can say fuck you. That's okay. You
Mhm.
understand? Like my
Mhm.
intellect is not based off of my appearance, right? I
Right.
could be a hoodie and we want hoodies. You
We
understand?
do.
Like we
Yes.
want to inspire. And again, this is the Pac coming out in me, but we want to inspire the men our youth on the streets, right? To be leaders, right?
Right.
And we want to say it's okay if you got gold teeth. That
Mm.
doesn't mean you can't create an action plan. Here you
Mhm.
go, brother. I'm gonna teach you the fundamentals. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, it,
Yes.
there's no right way to look. We need the whole proper look, the whole what defined as a real job. All of that comes from white supremacy. We need to redefine what that looks like for our community. What does our leadership look like? What do
Yeah.
our leaders look like? How do our leaders sound? You hear me? I could switch a tone right now and turn every I could switch to a different Jackie right now and you'd be like, who the fuck is this? Right?
Right.
That is me because that's how I grew up. I had to have a seamless code switch. So there's some times where I am like, you would think I was two different people. A lot of
Hmm.
people see my reels and they're saying to me, they comment, oh, she's so fake. It's just an act. That's why I do these lives. It's not an
Hmm.
act. It's who I am. You see what I'm saying? Like, this
Hmm.
is just me. Right.
Hmm.
And
And
that's
again,
okay. I'm
yeah.
a leader still. You see what
Right,
I'm
right,
saying?
right, right. And just like we talked about earlier, those tactics, as long as we use them strategically, who cares if we have our corporate voice or we have our street voice? That they're all of us. But for you to do the things you did, you just described about taking on the one fight and helping up anybody that's drawn to you to help has to come from a place of true self. You're knowing who you are and standing in confidence of that, which is why I preach true self in our community, especially for black women, because if you don't get to your true self, you are drawn away by every wind, and you can't step to the plate when you need to step to the plate.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's crisp. And
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
when we were talking about um how white supremacy, is that belief that it wants us that we have to be alone to be worthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that, like, think about it as this, like, white supremacy has taught us that needed each other is more of a it's more of a liability than an asset.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because they understand what our collective strength looks like. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I hear you say your true self, I mean that aligns with Black liberation because liberation teaches us that needing each other is the whole fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? That's part of the liberation. You understand
Mm-hmm.
that we
Mm-hmm.
need each other. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's okay, and we have to get back to it being okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We have
we took on the division of us, like I said, because it's a Eurocentric view that we adopted for ourselves. And
yep.
when black people adopt stuff, we perfect the hell out of it, and that's part of the problem. We have perfected
Yes.
the hell out of individuality, um, going against communal ideations, things like that. We perfected not doing that. So we've got to back it up and do it over again and release the things that are not serving us.
Yes.
And understand is those things that served our ancestors, is those things that causing us to be here right now. Had it
Exactly.
not been for that, then we wouldn't be here right now having this great conversation.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
Exactly.
it's almost an hour. Not that we have to cut it off, but I know I want to respect your time and everybody who's listening with us, joining us today. It's been some good, juicy stuff
I love it.
on in here today. People, we want to move toward solidarity, and if this environment just in the U.S., let's not even think about Cuba. Let's not think about all of these other the atrocities going on in all these other places. Just here in the United States, what's happening right now is calling us towards solidarity. And the more proactive we can get to that, the better off we'll be. So we're not reactively trying to help people, not reactively trying to do it. With Jackie's Helping Hands, that's a proactive structure. Your academy is a proactive structure. That's what we need to move to. And each one of us has got to examine within ourselves the things that we need to shed, to get rid of in order to embrace that. So, Jackie, I think I'm going to make that my last question to you. What is one belief, one or behavior Black women may need to release or we might need to embrace to build stronger collective power among ourselves?
So, what I was going to say to close this was so,
Okay.
and it's funny because I was smiling as you were talking because when you talk about what you just said, I think what we need to hold on to is building. We need to build and we need to let go of the defending, right?
Mm, mm,
That's what we need to do. We really need to recenter. We can still defend, but we need to refocus on the building. So for us, it looks like returning to our cultural memory, right? And that's what we've been
mm,
talking about. It's
mhm,
communal care, it's embracing communal care, shared resources, collective identity, spiritual grounding, and the
mm,
understanding that we are not individuals fighting alone, but people with lineage and
mm.
purpose, right? Like,
Yes.
we need to remember, right, that our resistance says we won't let you break us, right?
Mm,
That remembrance, right? When we remember, our remembrance says you never defined us in the first place, right? And then
yes.
I had solidarity rooted in remembrance is quieter, deeper, and more durable. It's not
Mm.
about responding to harm, it's about returning to ourselves. And I
Ooh.
think that's what it is for me is that's what we need to embrace, right? Is
Girl.
returning to ourselves. So that was my big closer for you. It's just for you. Woo!
That is sweeter than blackberry juice, girl. Sweeter. Blackberry juice. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. Thank you for your wisdom. Hey, you guys, check out Jackie A on Substack. Jackie yaps a lot, which is so hilariously true. Good stuff. So much fun on YouTube. And then I know you're on Instagram and you're on Threads. So you guys follow, like, subscribe to Jackie and continue in this juiciness, and we will rise up together. Thank you all for joining us.
Having me.
Yes, thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Love you all. Bye.